situation evolves in the following manner. Indeed, Ukraine set itself an objective, and it's still accurate, to become an EU member. And this is a choice Ukraine is entirely authorized to make. It is entirely up to Ukraine to choose how they structure their international relations, how they structure their economic ties. The situation evolves in the following manner. Indeed, Ukraine set itself an objective, and it's still accurate, to become an EU member. And this is a choice Ukraine is entirely authorized to make. It is entirely up to Ukraine to choose how they structure their international relations, how they structure their economic ties. Back then, when Mr. Yanukovych was the president of Ukraine, the problem for us was that when Ukraine would join the European economic ties, it would cause some economic problems to Russia, because Ukraine was part of the free trade area. We had free custom borders to Ukraine, and that would have certain consequences to us. So Ukraine would have to weigh all the odds and choose. Potentially, Ukraine would lose something by enjoying the free customs borders to Russia, and it, of course, would acquire something by joining the EU. And this is exactly the equation that President Yanukovych tried to settle, and he was quite upset when he saw the results, because if Ukraine was to open its borders to highly competitive products from EU, it would fully destroy manufacturing and production in Ukraine, and would also destroy the possibility of having any kind of economic ties with Russia. So President Yanukovych didn't want Ukraine to join the EU. He wanted Ukraine to become the EU member. I do not know what he would say now, but I know he was aiming for that, provided that the terms for Ukraine are acceptable. This matter had nothing to do with us, except the only fact that it would affect our interest in terms of cooperation with Ukraine economically wise. But otherwise, we never objected to any kind of integrational processes between Ukraine and Europe. As for security matters, this is a completely different question. Again, former President Yanukovych and the chairman of the government of Ukraine back then objected to the idea of Ukraine becoming a NATO member. And that is a matter that is directly affecting Russia in terms of securing our long-term interests. So what happened as a result of coup d'etat? Yanukovych was removed from power. That was a legitimate president who objected to the idea of Ukraine becoming a NATO member. And as a result of this bloody coup, they brought those forces to power that supported the idea of Ukraine becoming a NATO member, and they still insist on this idea. This is something that we are not ready to agree to, despite the fact that every country has a choice to secure its national interests. Again, that kind of matters cannot be resolved without taking into account Russia's interests, because there is a clear rule stipulated in the European documents. The security of one country cannot be guaranteed through or at the cost of security of another country.
Ukraine's membership in the EU, we have never objected this. As for NATO, it's a different matter. But here, we are speaking about ensuring security of the Russian Federation, not only today, not only in the midterm, but also in the long term. Our position in this regard is well known. We believe it to be unacceptable. Of course, it's up to Ukraine. How do they want to ensure their security? But this security, as it's stipulated in foundational documents, security documents that concern Eurasian security, one country's security cannot be ensured at the expense of someone else, in this particular case, at the expense of the Russian Federation. So there are some options for ensuring Ukraine's security, and we have also discussed this in Anchorage, and I believe we can find a compromise in this regard.